All right, my friends, this is for the green team or for any students who want an extra challenge. In class last week, we talked about something called noun clauses, and I said I would give a short discussion about what a noun clause is. So this is a short discussion of noun clauses, and this will lead into a quiz about noun clauses. For your quiz, I'm going to ask you to create 8 sentences, and then I will grade them and let you know how you did using noun clauses. And just to let you know, a noun clause it's a noun. We talked about in class a clause is a group of words that creates a complete sentence in some way. So a clause will have a subject and a verb. You can have an independent clause, which is the complete sentence that I mentioned, or you can have a dependent clause, which is a group of words that has a subject and a verb but cannot stand by itself. And that's what a noun clause is. A noun clause is a type of dependent clause. It is a group of words that acts like a noun, a huge group of words that acts like a noun, but it cannot stand by itself. It is a type of dependent clause. It is not a subordinating clause in the sense of the subordinating conjunctions that we've looked at. Those end up being adverb clauses. Noun clauses are clauses that are a noun. So they do, in the sentence, they do the same work that a noun does. For example, here I have a sentence that says, I know the answer. So here, whoops, this is the highlighter. Here we have our subject, which is I. We have our verb, and then we have this, which is our object. In English, in sentences, your nouns can be subjects or they can be objects. Here we have the answer as an object. And then in the second piece here, we have taken out the specific noun and we've replaced it with a more general noun called a noun clause. And how we know it's a noun clause, how I know it's a noun clause is because it's in the sentence acting like a subject or an object. In this case, it is acting like an object. So this is acting as the object of a verb because here, again, we have our subject. Here, again, we have our verb. It is the thing that I know. So because of the structure of the sentence, I know this is a thing. Because I know it's a thing, and I know that it starts with this type of word, and I will get to that in just a moment. I, as a native speaker, know this is a noun clause. This is a thing that I know in this sentence, but I don't know the specific noun for it. In the first sentence up here, our specific noun was the answer. I know the answer. As a listener, the thing that I am talking about is clear to you. It is the answer, whatever that is. For the second sentence here, instead of saying the answer, I've given a clause that implies what the noun might be. I know how you would answer the question. I'm not actually saying how you would answer the question. I'm simply letting you know, I know how you would answer the question. So in this sentence, we have our dependent clause marker. That's our noun clause marker, which we'll talk about soon. But we also have the subject, and then we have our verb, which is would answer. So we've got the clause there, subject, verb, and it's dependent because of this dependent clause marker, how. All of those components together, plus the fact that I know it's an object or a subject, makes it a noun clause. Your noun clauses are going to be subjects or objects. And it could be an object of a verb, like this, or it could be an object of a preposition, like with or by, and I will show you later as well. For this discussion and for your quiz, we're going to focus on 4 types of noun clauses, the main noun clauses, the ones that are the most commonly used. Noun clauses that begin with that, noun clauses that begin with question words like who, where, why, how. Noun clauses that begin with the word whether or if, and then noun clauses that begin with ever words. And there's a hyphen there because words like whoever, whenever, wherever, however, those are the things we're going to focus on, these 4 areas. And then your quiz, you are going to write sentences for these 4 types of noun clauses. You're going to create them yourself using a noun clause as a subject and a noun clause as an object. And I want to show you some examples so you know what I'm looking for in your quiz. Of course, don't put these in the quiz as your answers because these are my sentences. I want you to make up your own. So we're going to start with noun clauses with that. I'm going to start right up here, noun clauses with that. As a subject, we have a noun clause with that, and it's right here. And then on the bottom, we have a noun clause with that as an object. So we know this is a subject because it begins the sentence and it comes right before the verb. We know this is an object because it comes after the verb, right? Here's our verb, that's an object. So the first sentence, that she loves her mom, is obvious. So we have a word that introduces a clause that has a subject, right? She's the subject, and we have a verb, loves. That's a sentence. When we add the word that, that's a dependent clause marker, and in this case, it's a noun clause marker. That tells us this whole group of words is a noun, and it's a subject because it's starting the sentence and comes right before the verb. If we erased that, let's say we got rid of that. She loves her mom is obvious, is an incomplete sentence because in this sentence, you technically have two main verbs, love and is, and that does not work. So this is a noun clause because the verb love is embedded in the clause that she loves her mom. So that whole group there becomes the thing that is obvious. As an object, her mom knows something. And this is what I like to teach students about noun clauses. Use the word something. Her mom knows something. Something is a specific noun. We don't know what that something is, so we have to describe it. How do we describe it? She knows that she loves her mom. That's a thing that she knows. She knows that she loves her mom. What's the something? It's this thing, that she loves her mom. That's the specific thing she loves. Same thing in that first sentence. You could say, something is obvious. We don't know what that something is, so we have to describe it. That she loves her mom, that's the thing that's obvious. So that's how you use noun clauses with that. Noun clauses with that often are used as objects. You can use them as subjects, of course, but they're most commonly used as objects after certain verbs like knows or sees. I saw that you were doing something that, or something like that. It's an object after certain verbs. The next one is noun clauses with question words. And if you look at this document, you'll see the question words immediately. What, who, what, how. These are question words. Who, what, when, where, why. So here we have our subject. Everything that comes before the main verb is the subject here. We have no introductory clauses or phrases. This is just subject verb. And then down here, we have our object, what you want, how you finish the task. So if we look at these structures, the first one is the subject of the sentence. Something will benefit us, right? Something will benefit us. Actually, I should do one correction here. Will is part of the verb. I'm sorry about that. So that's the subject, what I know. And then the verb is will benefit us. So something will benefit us. We don't know what that something is. So to be specific, what I know, that's the something. So if we can take out something from the sentence and replace it with a noun clause, that helps us understand what we could do with a noun clause. So if it's a question word, what I know will benefit us. When I know will benefit us. How I know will benefit us. Why I know will benefit us. Where I know will benefit us. We can put in any question word there and logically it makes sense and grammatically it makes sense. Second sentence here, we have our subject, who I am. That's the subject of our sentence. And then here's the main verb of our sentence, is. Everything before is a subject. We can use a noun clause as a subject. Who I am is not important. That is the subject of the sentence. Who I am is the noun clause. We have our question word here, who, and then we have our subject and our verb from the dependent clause. All those things together make a subject. Instead of saying, something is not important, right? Or in this case, someone is not important. We want to know specifically what that thing is. And in this case, it is who I am. We also use noun clauses as objects. This is a little easier to grasp. And again, I feel like the question word as noun clause is often used as an object, although it is certainly also used as a subject. So object, I know something, or they saw something. You can take out the word something and put in a noun clause. I know what you want. They saw how you finished the task. It doesn't matter what you do in terms of how you write the sentence, as long as you have a question word. And then inside of your clause, you have a subject and a verb. That makes a noun clause. Noun clause, marker word, followed by subject, followed by verb. That's a noun clause as long as you are using it like a subject or an object in the sentence. Those are the rules. Your noun clause must be a dependent clause that starts with a noun clause marker, followed by a subject and a verb. And in the larger sentence, it must be acting like a subject or an object. Our third piece here is noun clause with whether or if. Again, you can use it as the subject, whether I will go. If I know about it, those are the subjects of the sentence because the main verb in both sentences is. So everything before the main verb becomes the noun clause. Whether I will go is the question. Again, you could say something is the question. Get rid of something, put in a noun clause. Same rule as before, noun clause marker word plus subject plus verb makes your noun clause, okay? Noun clause marker word can be whether or if. Noun clause marker word can be, let me try to go up this way, can be question words. Noun clause marker word can be that. So you're looking for those noun clause marker words. All of these right here are noun clause marker words. That plus a subject plus a verb gives you a noun clause. Then you take that noun clause and put it into a larger sentence as a subject or as a verb. Let's go back down. Noun clauses with whether or if as an object. Again, this comes after the main verb, or in this case, after a preposition. So I talked about noun clauses coming after main verbs or coming after prepositions earlier. Here we have both. Here we have I care about, that is a preposition. A noun after a preposition is also always an object. So I care about whether she will go or not. I don't know if she will go. Again, take out the noun clause and just say the word something. I care about something. Cool. What is that something? You use a noun clause to describe that something. I care about whether she will go or not. That is the something that I care about. I don't know if she will go. I don't know something. Okay, you don't know something. What is that something? We use a noun clause to describe that something. I don't know if she will go. Again, if and whether are our dependent clause marker words for noun clauses. And this is where things get a little confusing because if is also a subordinating conjunction. We can say if she will go and then give another clause and have a subordinating conjunction. And it looks the same, but the function in the sentence is different. If you have a sentence that says something like if she will go, I will go too. They both use if, but this one up here is a noun clause, and this one down here is a subordinating conjunction or a complex sentence. How do you know? This comes directly after a verb, or it can come before a verb to be the subject or the object of a sentence. A noun clause is a subject or an object of a sentence or a preposition. This one right here, it is not the subject or the object of a sentence because it has no relation to a main verb or a preposition. The function of this clause is different. As a result, use a different color here. This is a subordinating clause, right? This is a dependent clause that is subordinating. They think about a subordinating conjunction. It's technically an adverb clause. That's what we call them. Whereas this one is a noun clause. Same sentence, same words, different function. This is why noun clauses are confusing, especially when you use words like if. In English, you'll see the same words used in many different contexts, and if is just one of them. Last one here, we have noun clauses with ever words. Ever words we have are like whatever, wherever, whoever, however. And again, we have our same function. It's either a subject, comes before the main verb, or it's the object, comes after a preposition or after a noun. In this case, they are after prepositions. So whatever you want is fine. Again, take out the noun clause and say something. Something is fine. What is that something? We need to describe it so the listener understands what we are talking about. We describe it with a noun clause. Whatever you want is the thing that's fine. Wherever she vacations, I should say vacations and not vacations. Wherever she vacations will be expensive. So that whole thing right here is the noun clause, wherever she vacations. We have our noun clause marker word, the ever word. We have a subject and we have a verb inside of this dependent clause that comes right before a main verb. That tells us it's a noun clause. Again, instead of saying something will be expensive, we don't know what something is. You want to explain it to your listener or your reader. So you would say wherever she vacations. Same thing with object. I'll give money to whoever arrives first. They'll be hurt by however you decide to tell them. I'll give money to something or someone. They'll be hurt by something. We use noun clauses to describe those things. So as a review, noun clauses can be used as subjects or objects, and we have dependent clause marker words, that, or question words, or whether or if, or ever words. These begin a noun clause, and then we follow those words up with a subject plus a verb, and that whole thing together makes a dependent clause that is called a noun clause. A noun clause, again, is a type of dependent clause that does the same work as a noun in a sentence, right? A single noun, like the answer in this example here. Your goal, your job, your task for your quiz, you have 4 categories: that, question words, whether or if, and ever. I would like you to make 1 sentence for each category using a noun clause as a subject, and 1 sentence in each category with a noun clause as an object. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, please email me.